answering your questions in a video. I recently did a community post on YouTube and on Instagram saying, ask me anything. And I got like between the two about 80 questions so far. So this is going to be pretty fun. Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, those are the only places you'll find me. I am not on Facebook, TikTok, X, Snapchat, any of that crap. So if you see a van life meow on any of those platforms, let me know, because it's an imposter. I actually stole the idea for this video from Freiburger. He recently did a Q&A where he answered each question in a different place, different scene. It took him like 2 weeks to film the video and kind of revealed a little bit about his upcoming videos. And I was like, that's kind of cool. That would be fun to do. So I'll start with the most commonly asked questions. What is my biggest challenge on the road? What's like the most difficult thing? What's the most stressful thing? And for me personally, it's finding somewhere to fill my water tank. I have a 20-gallon tank on board, and it's harder than you think. I actually brought a cross key so I could actually just go rogue and hook up to a building somewhere and steal water, which I'm probably going to eventually have to do, because there are places to get water here and there, but it's really not, a lot of towns and stuff do not really have just an RV dump or something convenient. I've actually rolled up to an RV park and was knocking on their door just to see if I could throw them a few bucks to fill my tank. And the manager wasn't around, but one of the residents, one of the people at that RV park, came over, and I told him what I was doing, and he was like, yeah, come on over to my spot, and he let me fill up there. But most of the time, I have to actually book a night at an RV park or a campground, which is expensive. And I found some cool ways to do it, like the Maverick in Moab, for example, has potable water for RVs that you can just go fill up right on the side of the gas station. Some truck stops do too. Like over in Quartzsite, there's plenty of RV spots, because the town is actually, it caters to RVers. But yeah, finding water it's difficult. And I can shower in my van, which I do a lot, but then I run out of water quicker because I only have a 20-gallon tank, which is still like plenty. I wouldn't try to cram anything bigger in that little van of mine, but yeah, that's definitely the hardest thing. Much harder than finding somewhere to camp or anything like that. It's finding somewhere to fill my water. Canada, Alaska, Mexico, yes. As for Canada, I've been to Alberta twice. I've seen Banff, Jasper, Icefields Parkway, Elk Island. I have not yet been to BC though, and I fully intend to. I want to go to BC, Vancouver Island, all of that. Hopefully later this year, like late summer, August or something. It's kind of the idea. Alaska, someday, we'll get there. Mexico, I would love to. I love Mexican food, and in high school I took German instead of Spanish, which was a mistake. But Mexican is different than Spanish, and I've been kind of dabbling in what it would take for me to learn Mexican, and it is, a little overwhelming for me at the moment. I have, I've killed some brain cells over the years. Australia, totally. That has been a bucket list thing for me for a long time. I would love to go to Australia. I might not even come back. As far as international travel otherwise, I've been to France, Germany, and Amsterdam when I was younger. And I would love to go to like the UK, Ireland, Sweden, Norway, all that stuff. If I ever will, I don't know. I would have to save thousands of dollars to do it, but I would love to. I want to see as much of this world as I can while I'm still alive. And to give you a little teaser of where I am and the video that I'm working on. Adventure Van Man, Metallica or Megadeth? Dude, Megadeth? William Boyle, 8918, said Zildjian or Paste. Dave Lombardo plays Paste Rudes. So that. I have played Zildjians. They have like a real warm tone. And on my kit right now, I have a 20-year-old set of Sabian B8s because I'm poor. But Tom Tirabasso asks, is Theodore a gift from the universe? Yes. He just appeared. There's no better explanation. And yes, Cutie Butts is her legal name. That is her name. I had my other cat. His name was Kitty Poops. I'm very creative. All right, now that I got my computer in front of me, I can read a bunch of them. Hattie Foil 555. Hello, Dave. Any plans to visit the South, east of the Mississippi? Yeah. Someday, for sure. I really want to go to New Orleans. I love Cajun food. And I have been to Florida a few times when I was a kid. Paul Ruiz, did I say that right? 3298. How has your lift/suspension upgrade been performing off-road and on highway? So, the ground clearance is great. The tires are amazing. The ride quality... the handling's real good. What I'm gonna do is I already have it all planned out, picked out the products that I'm gonna buy, and I'll probably be doing that here pretty soon, this spring. But I am going to put an airlift on the back, airbags. I was originally going to just get a sway bar for better stability. And I decided that I'd rather have the articulation. So I am going to do airbags in the rear, and then I'm upgrading the shocks all the way around. And I need to kind of loosen up my leaf springs and just grease everything. The van is very squeaky. I guess I should have put more grease on the shackles and stuff when I installed that stuff. But I mean, it's been great and it's very drivable, but there is some room for improvement there. Carol, LL5 Joe. Are you going to do some work camping? Yes. I'm not much of a people person. I don't like talking to people, but I do like to keep busy. I love grounds maintenance. So I would like to get a job at a campground or a park or something, doing some sort of maintenance. Whether that's just a campground or an actual park or something. But it would be nice to get a seasonal job this summer and post up for a few months and earn some money. Esme Grace 54, I'm a van lifer, just paid off my van in December of 2025. Congrats. I just did a breakdown of my costs and was surprised how inexpensively I can do this lifestyle. I'm retired and my Social Security more than covers my costs. How do you do it? Will you need a seasonal job? Does your channel support you? I am living on about $1,500 a month. I have no debt. I've paid off my van and my build. And I do want to get a seasonal job because I have like no savings. But yes, you can live if you're single too and you don't have like any debt, or you keep your expenses down. I've dwindled away all of my monthly bills. Like I'm just have the minimum that I need. Just insurance on the van, phone bill, internet, and the few things that I have to subscribe to keep my YouTube channel going. But I live for like $1,500 a month, basically. So, yeah, this is the most affordable and most amount of freedom you can get with any lifestyle. Tacoma Black 25, Beavis or Butthead? Also, please come hang out in Maine. Beavis and Butthead, man. You can't have one without the other, and I would love to see Maine. Maine's beautiful. And Kevin XZ4Q or JQ, Ren or Stimpy. I can relate to Ren a little better. You know, you idiot. He's just got that anxiety and looks like he hasn't slept in weeks. I feel that. Stu B6D, do you get lonely and scared? Nope, not at all. Vic03123, do you have any regrets? No. The H King 5, is it possible to do this on a tight budget with the van SUV and just build it out over time as money allows and still truly enjoy it? Yeah, definitely. I put myself in debt to build my van because I'm impatient. When I want something, I want it now. I've always been that way. And I wanted to just buy everything up front so I would be able to build it and not have to wait for the next paycheck to get this item or that. So I put myself in a ton of debt to build my van and then paid it all off as quick as possible without racking up $1 of interest either. I did those 12 months, 0 APR promotion type of deals. I don't recommend anyone do that. You should never put yourself into debt, but I'm pretty reckless with my money. But yeah, I mean, if you start living in your vehicle immediately and then build it out as you go, that's really the best way to do it, because then you really won't do anything wrong. Like, you won't build your van or your rig one way or another and then figure out, no, that was unnecessary, or I'd rather have it like this. So just move into that thing, man. Nomadic Dawn, what's your favorite flavor of Faygo? I haven't had a Faygo in like 25 years. I don't know, Moon Mist, maybe? I don't know. I drink Diet Dr. Pepper. That's my soda of choice. I try to avoid sugar as much as possible. Caleb Alfaro 4720, do you recommend I save towards a house or a van build as a single man, no kids, from an economical standpoint? FYI, just your opinion on this is all, plus some. Maybe the better question, if you were my age, 26, almost 27, what would you shoot for, a house or portable livability? You gotta think about what you actually want in life. When I was in my 20s, I wanted an acreage. I wanted a big shop, an old farmhouse, and I kind of based my life around that. I started hoarding things that I was going to put in my future house and stuff. And in my generation, we all pretty much got screwed as soon as we got out of high school and got into the working force or went to college. The economy crashed in 2008. And if I had the credit and the money back then, I should have bought a house, because they were giving them away. There were all them foreclosures and stuff. By the time I got to the point where I was ready to buy a house, I started actively looking for a house, which was about your age. I think I was 28 or so. They just kept getting more and more expensive. The biggest piece of crap house that needed a roof, a bathroom with the floor rotting out, basement foundation messed up, a total fixer-upper, those were going for $140, $150. And now any piece of crap house is $250,000. So it's insanely expensive. Houses, I mean. From my point of view, you should, I don't know, I feel like I shouldn't be telling people this, but from my experience, when you're young, you need to just explore and live your life as fullest as possible. So if I were you personally, I would move into a vehicle and travel, and you never know, maybe you'll find your true love. Maybe you'll find some incredible career opportunity, or just somewhere in the country that is like, feels like home to you, or you're just so in love with that you want to move there instead. If you just buy a house in your hometown that you grew up in, then I don't know, you never know. You're probably missing out on a lot. So Francisco Figuero 8374. If you were to upgrade anything, what would it be? Bigger fridge with a freezer, dual zone fridge freezer. That would be the first thing I would do. Homeless voter. What do you do when your cats get sick on the road and need vet care? So I actually just finished filming a video where Theodore had to go to the vet, and you'll see that in a couple weeks. But basically, you get on Google, you research vets, you find one with really good reviews. Every vet that I've researched has like some horror stories. So you want to sort by, get on maps, find a vet, sort the reviews by newest, and then just go down the line, see how they've been performing over the past year or so. That'll give you an idea of what kind of care you can expect. It won't give you an idea of what things cost, though, which you'll see in my video that I made. But yeah, find a vet, drive to it. If you have some sort of cat emergency, God forbid, like I have this cat first aid manual, a book that I bought before I hit the road. I hope to never have to use it, but there's like, allergic reactions, CPR, that kind of stuff, first aid, Tom Tarabasso again, as you travel, are you scoping out areas to buy land in the future for a home base? Not yet. I would love to have some land one day. Totally off-grid would be fine. But right now, I'm still just exploring. I'm still traveling. I'm still, I'm still just out seeing things, I haven't decided where I want to settle down yet. Let's go over to Instagram here. Andy M. Films, who are your favorite bands? Man. So my favorite genre is death metal. I love Obituary, 6 Feet Under, Dying Fetus, The Faceless, Necrophagist. That's my favorite genre, but I love thrash metal. I love, British New Wave, Judas Priest. I love Scorpions, Black Sabbath, Megadeth, Pantera, Slayer, metal. Basically, just mostly metal. I love hip hop too. I used to have subs. All my friends did. I usually installed my friends' subs for them. I used to listen to a lot of E40, Tech 9, 3-6, Luda, stuff like that. I do not like country at all. I love Toby Keith, a few old school things. Travis Tritt I saw once, was pretty good, but not big on country at all. Artie Pants, what would you do if you're hiking and run into a mountain lion or a bear? How are you going to protect yourself? True story. I'm not making this up. When I was a teenager, I was hiking. I was walking through a field in Nebraska, a big grassy, like a meadow. And I was watching where I walked. I was looking at my feet the whole time, kind of in my own headspace. I looked up and I was literally 40 feet, if that, from a full-grown adult mountain lion. We just stared at each other, made eye contact. I stood perfectly still. So did the lion. Wagged its tail a little bit, but did not move. I slowly backed away and then just slowly kept walking away, keeping eye contact the whole time. And that was it. lion never chased me. It just stood there staring at me, like completely still for it was terrifying, but that happened. I do have a can of bear spray. That's it. I would never shoot a wild animal. I would just let them eat me, pretty much. That'd be a pretty awesome way to go, honestly. Feed the wildlife. Notorious Lav. Hi, Dave. What have you found to be the biggest challenge when trying to get Theo and Cutie used to traveling? They're both really used to it now. When I first hit the road, I was for sure that Cutie Butts was going to be terrified and have a bad time. If she was, she didn't show it. She rides perfectly. She just goes and lays on the bed and chills. Has no issue with it at all. Theodore, at first, for the first 100 miles every day, because I hit the road and traveled a lot to get at least across Nebraska right away, he would freak out for an hour, and then he would settle down and get used to it. And it was I almost had to go put him in a carrier because it was kind of dangerous. He'd be climbing all over me, climbing up on the dash, climbing on the steering wheel, meowing loudly, just terrified. So eventually he got over that. He doesn't really do that anymore. He did do it after I spent too much time in Quartzsite and wasn't traveling as often. He kind of got used to not driving around all the time. But if I keep moving every few days and travel, then they're fine. They just kind of got used to it. They seem to be pretty much settled into this lifestyle. Grandma Gertie, talk about your mom once in a while. Is your dad still around? Yes, and he's heckling me in this post and asking me questions like, when are you coming back? I need to borrow your van for 3 to 10 years. I love both of my parents. They are separated, and I'm just very grateful to still have both of my parents. I love them both, and I miss them. I miss my family. Joe Cruea, are you ever coming to Ontario? Yeah, someday. My brother actually works in Toronto occasionally. We discussed rendezvousing up there and hanging out. So I love Canada. I'd love to spend lots and lots of time up there. Honest Luke, any plans on trying to up the MPG with an air dam or something? He said, I want to live on the road comfortably, but can't afford 12, 13 MPGs because I like to see a lot of stuff. Also, would you ever get a small motorcycle or e-bike to go get groceries and so you don't have to take your house everywhere? Do you feel safe leaving your rig while you go on supply run or errands? You should get a smaller rig. Get a modern SUV. Well, if you don't mind not being able to stand up, get a smaller, more modern SUV. I've rented a Toyota RAV4 and a Honda HR-V and stuff. And those things, they get 37 miles to the gallon on average. And if you're okay with cooking outside, pooping outside, and not being able to stand up in your rig, if you just want to have a place to keep your stuff and sleep, an SUV is the way to go. I do want to get a little bike someday, a little dual sport, a Yamaha 250 or something. Someday I will, because I would love to be able to just park it at camp, leave my van and my cats, and then just explore the area. Yeah. I don't like e-bikes. I don't want one. Everybody's got them. They're overrated. I will keep using my Chevrolets on my old Schwinn until I'm not physically able to do so anymore. But for long distance, like a XT250 or something would be sweet. James Atencio, do you ever miss working a regular day job? No. Not at all. I do want to get a seasonal job. I want to be outside. I want to do something that I enjoy doing. I've developed skills over my life that I could make you know, I made 60 grand a year at my last job, but it was miserable and I hated the work. So I am going to get a job this summer or next year at the latest, but I'm going to get a job doing something I enjoy, and it's going to be outside. That's enough for now. I'm going to figure out where Cutie Butts went, and then I'm going to be moving to another camp. I'll see you there. So another question that I'm getting asked a lot in one form or another, and I apologize if I don't like say who you are, but several people have asked a similar question. So like, what would my next build be? What would I do if I were to build something again? Or what would my next rig be? Here's what I got cooking. I want to take a super reliable 4x4 truck, whether that's like a Toyota Tundra or a Chevy, probably 3/4 ton. And I want to take it, rip the bed off, cut the roof and the back of the cab off, get a bunch of aluminum square stock in a bender, and completely from scratch build an RV from a truck. Truck platforms, especially like a Chevy or something, have way more aftermarket support for the suspension and stuff. And I think it would just be way more capable of a rig. Plus, after building this box van and just having to work with what I had already, just with the construction of the box itself and taking a vehicle that wasn't intended to be what it is and turning it into what it is, I would love to be able to just do it from scratch. Of course, that would require a shop, a bunch of equipment and machinery and tools and stuff that I don't have and probably never will. But that's the idea. I would love to build, I could make it aerodynamic, I could make it any size that I want. You know, I could have a way more capable off-road platform with, take a truck, throw the bed away, start with just a cab and a frame, cut the cab out so it's like an actual enclosed pass-through, like an RV, but yeah, do it from scratch. And I would build it, you know, mostly with aluminum for the shell and the framework to keep it lightweight. That's my idea. Actually, I've had this idea for a while, but just recently, Foresty Forest got a new rig, and it's kind of similar. It's a Chevy Duramax truck where they cut the back of the cab off and put an actual truck camper on there, but like a permanent one, not something you set in a bed. I wouldn't do the bunk over the cab though. I would make mine like super aerodynamic. So I would like cut the roof of the cab off, not all the way around, but like open that up and actually build framework coming off of that. So it would look more like a van, kind of, just with a more pitched, angled front to it. But that's kind of my idea that I would love to do if I could ever, if I had a shop or access to a shop and the tools and equipment to do it, and the money, obviously. Aluminum is freaking expensive. Like, just the metal for, like, the angle iron and the aluminum that I bought for my van, that was like $400 or $500. And it would be at least $1,000 in metal to build what I got in mind. But that would be the idea. And then another very common question I've had from several people is just like what I would do differently with my van, or future upgrades. I already mentioned the fridge. Another thing I want to do is figure out another way to get hot water for a shower. They do make diesel coolant heaters for truckers. So they have the bunk heaters, which is what I have, like a parking heater they call it, where it's designed to just heat the living space. But they also have coolant heaters, which are designed to keep your engine warm if you're like parked overnight idling or just sitting in a very cold climate. I could take one of those heaters and cycle it through and use my existing water heater as the reservoir and just heat my water off of the diesel. So that's another future thing that I probably will do someday. They do make combination diesel heaters with the extra heat exchanger for the coolant. But that wouldn't be great, like unless it's cold out, you know. But that would probably be better for packaging because my van is small and I don't have room to have like a whole extra heater just for that. But that's something I am strongly considering. I've actually talked to a company that's got some high quality stuff from Europe for diesel heaters and coolant heaters. So that's another thing. Another question I got, I'm going to answer a few now since I got the camera rolling and I'm all mic'd up and stuff. I cannot pronounce your screen name and I apologize. You asked, is there anything about your build that during the build stage you weren't sure all the effort and hard work would be worth it, but now looking back you're so happy you stuck through to the end? Yeah, this, you haven't seen this video yet, but I've used this thing several times and I love it. The wood stove is freaking awesome. A lot more questions about just budget and stuff. I kind of already answered that. Somebody wanted to know how much money I make on YouTube. I'm not going to answer that. Less than minimum wage, put it that way. I don't make much at all. Less than, I'm lucky if I make like $200 on a video. So there you go. Ryan Kimple, big supporter of my channel, has commented on like every video. In what kinds of ways do your cats let you know they've had enough driving, and do they behave differently around groups of people, like at gas stops or stores? I can just tell, like, if the cats are pretty sick of driving. Cutie Butts, she'll lay back here for an hour or two. But if it's a long driving day, she'll get up and start eating or using the litter box. And that's kind of an indicator that, you know, she's up and ready to be not moving. Theodore will actually start whining after several hours of driving. I've had a few days where I've been on the road way longer than I anticipated because I have had a hard time finding campsites along the route that I was traveling, or I just ended up having to drive a lot further than I wanted to that day. Yeah, they kind of let me know. I generally keep the cats away from people. Like, if I'm in a crowded area, I keep the cats inside. Theodore's always riding on my lap or up front with me. And like when I enter a park or a national park or monument, I have to roll the window down to the like entry booth and talk to the person. And I gotta like hang on to him because he like wants to climb out the window pretty much. And Ryan also asked, do you meal plan when you shop, or is it a general idea in your head, kind of as you go, so to speak? I go to the grocery store and I just get whatever. Like, I go through grocery stores really fast. I can be in and out of a grocery store in 10, 15, 20 minutes at the most. And I literally just run around the whole store and just, that looks good. So I don't meal plan at all. Very rarely I have, just because I know like I want to make this for a video. But yeah, I will have a Walmart list. Like, I write down things that I actually need so I don't forget them, like coffee or something. But the food that I eat is so random. It's just whatever catches my interest. And then finally, Ryan, when you reflect back to when you first had that fully fleshed idea of nomad life, how does this really compare to what you thought it was going to be? Is it better or worse? Anything you would change or do differently? It is just as amazing as I dreamed it would be. It really is. Anything I would change or do differently? I wanted to hit the road with like a huge nest egg in the bank, but I got too anxious, and my van build took me way too long to do. I should have had this van done in half the time. So I guess I would have, I don't know, built my van faster and stacked cash before I hit the road. Two Fathoms One asked a similar question about the food. Said, it looks to me that people living on the road eat a lot of fast food. You appear to be the opposite. I don't eat fast food at all, unless I find a good Mexican restaurant somewhere. But yeah, I just eat whatever I get at the grocery store. And then water, I've mentioned how difficult that is actually. I do carry 3 to 4 gallons of drinking water behind my behind my driver's seat, just as a backup. So when I do run my tank out, I have another day or so I can go before I fill that. Senval, another big supporter of my channel, has been commenting on every video forever. Have you ever experienced a close encounter with aliens during your travels? No, but I want to believe. I've experienced spirits, you know, in all these ancient places I spend the night at. I've had some pretty funky dreams. There's definitely energies of places, but no, I need to probably get over to Nevada and spend some time out there and hopefully, you know, get the whole alien experience. Patricia Perry, 7913, we plan to get air conditioning. Out west can be brutal without it. No, I should have, when I was building my van, incorporated AC into it. I do have a very cool plan if I ever decide I have to have AC. I've got something in my mind that I can do that I don't think anyone else has ever done. I'm not going to say what it is because, you know, I don't want to give away my ingenuity here, but I don't think I will need AC. We'll see. Ask me again in this fall. But I'm going to try to just go up north, stay in the mountains, higher elevations, stay out of the humidity. I'll take 90s in Arizona over like mid 70s in Nebraska because the humidity makes a huge difference. I am not kidding. It is night and day. Dry heat is the thing. C. Burley 12785 asks, has it been more expensive to live on the road than you anticipated? Actually, no. It's been cheaper, I would say, anyway. My expenses are so low. Like, when I go to Walmart and the grocery store, that's an expensive day. I spend a couple $100, but I mean, I can go literally like a whole week or two without spending any money other than gas. And just not having rent and utility bills and all that. It's so cheap. Yeah, I'd say less expensive than I thought. Sherry Thomas 552 asks, what apps do I use to find where I want to camp? So, Onyx, it's great, and that's how I figure out exactly where all the land boundaries are for BLM, Forest Service, state, all of that. And then I get on over to Google Maps and get on satellite and zoom in on like dirt roads and stuff, BLM or Forest Service roads, and look for very obvious camp spots you can see in very low quality, bad resolution imagery of where pull-offs are, where clearings are, where obvious places that people have camped are. So that's how I do it. With Onyx on the Forest Service, they actually highlight the roads where dispersed camping is allowed. BLM doesn't specify. Pretty much any BLM is, you're good to go. So Onyx and Google Maps, that's it. I've tried all kinds of other apps. None of them are worth it. They all want some kind of subscription and full of ads or whatever. And Yeah, Onyx and Google. That's it. Jesse B asks, am I going through California? And then Renee Koch asks, specifically, am I going to be around San Diego, Borrego Springs? Yeah, California's on my list. I will be driving, at least the plan is I'll be coming down out of BC in the fall, and I'm going to be taking like the West Coast down Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada. I don't know about San Diego and all that yet, but someday, yeah, you know. I kind of got sick of the desert this winter. I've had enough, so. But, you know, next winter, probably. Ryan Stellmaker asks, am I the lead singer of the Canadian technical metal band Arcspire? Isn't that guy bald? I'm gonna have to look that up. On that same note, Scrap Daddy's Garage asks, am I ever gonna cut off my ponytail? No. Long hair, don't care. Last time I had a haircut was in 2014 for a job interview. And then I figured out later on that the person who interviewed me is super cool and used to have dreads. Elizabeth asks, am I a fan of They Might Be Giants? No. Metal, Beth. Metal. Crypto Ranger 4901. Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam? Dude, Alice in Chains. And Tom Tirabasso again asks, have I ever been in a band? No, actually, but I have jammed with people, but never officially started a band. I've come up with some really good names for bands, if I ever were to, but no. I like all these music questions. Gina MPLM asks, how old are you? I'm 37. I would like to address all the safety police. I get comments all the time. The stuff that I'm doing is really not as dangerous as it looks. I'm just going on hikes. I'm not like frail, you know. I'll be fine. I do own trekking poles, but I don't like using them. They're more of a nuisance than a benefit to me at this point in my life, you know. If you want to really get freaked out, go watch some rock climbing videos or some free solo kind of stuff. I'm just going on regular old hikes out here. I do appreciate your concern for my safety, though. Thank you. Check it out. I'm in a slot canyon. Adventure by the Mile asks, how do you get away with sleeping in hotel parking lots? I don't. I get into town, see what I want to see, do my shopping, and then head right out into the country. I do not spend the night in a town or a city. If I do, it's going to be at a campground somewhere or an RV park. I do not like truck stops, Cracker Barrels, parking lots. It's not my thing. Mrs. Dream Ditch asks, do you think you'll go to the very large array near Socorro? I think that is Wednesday's video. So you asked that question like 2 days before that video comes out. So by the time this video's done, everyone will have seen that. But yeah, it was awesome. Okay, Glovers, how do you combat fatigue on long driving days? You just gotta stop and get out every few hours, you know. I love interstate rest stops, actually, and you know, gas station, go pee, grab a fountain drink, just get out, break it up, but yeah, I've done some really long, like 14, 15 hours, and that's the worst. Like, your eyes burn, you end up shaky. Like, I try not to do that anymore. A couple hours, 4 at the most nowadays. Simple Man Duke, another longtime viewer of my channel, has been commenting forever, asks, what knowing what you know now, what would you have not brought and what would you have brought? Or what have I brought with me thinking I needed it? And then what would I have brought instead, knowing what I know now? And then he also asks, would a KOA membership be a viable option for me? So the day before I left to hit the road, I already owned a generator, and I tried to get it running, and it wouldn't start. It had spark, but no fuel. I took the carburetor apart, and as I was putting it back together, I broke it. So I hit the road. Instead of a generator and an air compressor, I hit the road with an inflatable kayak and a swamp cooler. And I have not used the kayak yet, and I ended up selling the swamp cooler because I don't think I'll ever use that. I really wished I brought the generator and the air compressor. I ended up buying a better generator. It's got more output, which the other one I don't think would have really been up for the task. But and then I bought a tire inflator, like an off-road style, more heavy-duty one. But a compressor, would have been probably better, because it would have really been nice to have been able to air down on a lot of these rocky, bumpy, washboardy, just off-road trails. So that's the big thing I can think of. Other stuff, I actually did a pretty good job, I would say, on like my cabinets and all the crap that I brought in the van with me. But as far as the whole storage in the back of my van needs to be redone. It is very dysfunctional. It's just 2 large totes full of crap. I also really just brought a mess of tools, and it's not it's dysfunctional. So when I do go back to the garage at my mom's house this spring, I'm going to be just completely redoing my rear storage area. I'm going to make it super organized and just way more functional. Now, as far as a KOA, I don't know, I haven't looked into memberships, but them freaking things are so expensive. Like, I tried to book a night at one once, and it was just the journey, not the holiday. So it was like the less bougie one. They're like $100 a night for them KOAs. And I really don't, I don't think for me personally it would be worth it, because I only do a campground when I really need water, and I go there for water, shower. It's like every week or two I'll go to a campsite. If I was gonna spend the night in a campground every night, like Russ from RV or TV, he does that, and man, that adds up. Then it would be worth it if it was like an every night thing. Or if you get east of the Rockies, there is no public land, basically. Pretty much from what I've seen, and I mean, you can look at the map and tell, but pretty much from like middle of Nebraska east, there's no public land. There's just too much population. Lori, or LORIH 4392, asks, how much would be a good amount to have as an emergency fund? I'd say $5,000 at the minimum. That will cover any major repair, or should at least, on your vehicle. Depends on your vehicle, but anything reasonable, $5,000. If you had $10,000 in the bank, you can rest easy. If something will come up, which it will, 'cause that's how life happens. you'd be all right with 10 grand, you know. If we're talking about like retirement too, I'm gonna keep going, but yeah, I wouldn't hit the road without a few grand in the bank at least, just for if you break down. But yeah, 5 grand, better than nothing. 10 grand would be pretty sweet, you know. Steve Hansen, any plans on traveling to Minnesota or Wisconsin this upcoming summer? Not this year, probably next year, but you know, I will get up there eventually. This year I'm kind of heading west. I'm going to be doing like Montana, Idaho, that kind of stuff. Hello15848 asks, how many YouTube channels do you have and links? I have 3. I have Van Life Meow, which is my main channel. It's what I post most frequently too. And then I started a channel that's nothing but driving footage from my GoPro on the hood of my van. That's called Ride with Meow. It's my driving footage in real speed, not sped up, and no like YouTube music over it. It's kind of like a background ambient thing you can just put on, like, you know, the fireplace that you put on your TV. That's kind of the idea with that one. And then I have this other channel that I started years ago. It's called Western Rail Fan, and it's just trains, just all trains. And I haven't posted to that in like over a year now, but when I am around trains or any sort of train related thing, I film it, and that's where that content goes. So I'll overlay all 3 channels. I usually put Ride with Meow and Van Life Meow at the end of every video on the end screen, along with a suggested video. But I'll put links in the description of this video to all 3 if you're curious. David C6Q5C asks, do you have a mailing address while on the road, and how does that work? So my mailing address is my mom's house in Nebraska. That's where I like register my van and all that. But that's a hard thing to figure out. If you need to get some Amazon or some mail or some packages, forget about it, man. I did that Moon Mountain mail in Quartzsite. It cost me $84 for the like the seasonal subscription to it. And they give you like a mailing address, which is a P.O. box that they have in Quartzsite, and then another number that's your individual personal mailbox. But it took forever to get anything. Like if you you know, you have Amazon Prime and you want to order something and it says like next day delivery or 2 days or overnight, once you put in that Quartzsite mailbox, good luck, 2 weeks. You know, my mom forwarded me my registration renewal for my van, which I had to take care of in January. You know, the main reason I got that P.O. box in Quartzsite. It took 4 weeks between when she mailed it and when I got it. And then they offer a forwarding service. So if you leave Quartzsite and you get packages after the fact, you can have them forwarded to any other address you want. But that was an additional fee. I had to pay like $20 for them to send my shit to my mom's house. So I'm never doing that again, at least not in Quartzsite. There's one in Pahrump, Nevada called Mail Messages and More, which might be a little better. I think Pahrump is a much more established town than Quartzsite. They have a Walmart and everything, but there's like, you can get general delivery to any post office, but it's kind of complicated how you got to word it just right. You have to inform that post office that you're expecting something. There's also like FedEx and UPS stores typically will accept a package for you, but you also have to like call them or walk into a place, let them know that you're gonna have something sent there. And then you gotta park it. You gotta stay in that area until your stuff comes, you know. So getting mail there is no good system in place that I've found yet. I just don't worry about it. When I go back to my garage this spring, I'll order whatever I want off Amazon, Chewy, whatever. But yeah, that's a tough one for sure. Brad asks, what is the GVWR of the van and how much does it weigh? I don't know what it weighs. I haven't weighed it. I tried to once. The GVWR is 8,600, but I know for sure I'm well under that. I'm probably no more than 7,000, I would imagine. Someday I will weigh the van. NAZ Mill, truth or dare? Dare. Look, I'm wearing my seatbelt. Joseph Morgan asks, basically, what do I feed my cats? So traveling, it's kind of your options are whatever you can get at Walmart or like Safeway, and I try to get them something generally pretty healthy, but they actually like throw up less and do better on Fancy Feast, honestly. And I mean, if you ask enough cat people, you'll get the same answer. But I'd buy a lot of that Reveal or Revel or whatever from Safeway because it's super healthy. I also get a lot of Rachel Ray Nutrish. That's what their kibble is. I've tried lots of stuff. Over the years, I've tried just about everything. Fancy Feast appetizers, the little trays, are super high quality, healthy stuff. The thing with cats is you gotta give them a little variety. Like if you feed them the same exact thing every day, they will get sick of it, and they'll tell you too. Theodore has never thrown up other than when he had worms, and Cutie Butts does occasionally puke. So I kind of, when she does that, I think about what I fed her last and determine if it was the food or if she just overate or if she was just stressed out. Theodore does stress her out a lot. He's always messing with her. I'm talking about you, son. You're naughty. So their diet is pretty much similar to how it was before I hit the road. Nothing's really changed except just where I buy their food. I don't buy cat food at PetSmart because it's like super expensive. PetSmart's like, you pay a premium for everything there. I used to buy that Blue Buffalo Wilderness, that's super expensive food, but it's actually like, it's trash. Don't get that stuff. And the Blue Tastefuls is even worse. You might as well buy Fancy Feast and just save your money at that point. But yeah, cats are a whole different, no pun intended, it's a whole different animal than feeding a dog, where you can just give them table scraps. Cats do like people food though. My kitty poops, I used to buy plain oven roasted deli turkey and give him some of that, just regular actual shaved turkey breast without any preservatives or flavorings. And they like cheese. Cats like cheese. So there you go. Brian L 2029 asks your electrical, mechanical, automotive knowledge learned on the job, trade, technical school, or high school shop class. Everything I learned myself. A lot of on-the-job experience. I have learned things from other people that I've worked with, but lots of trial and error. I made a lot of mistakes. Plumbing was a real hard one for me to figure out. Just how to put stuff together, how tight to make it without it leaking. Electrical, I've been zapped dozens of times. And automotive, I've been tinkering on cars since as long as I can remember. I didn't know shit. Nobody told me anything. My first car, I didn't know that you need to bleed your brakes. I replaced pads and rotors that didn't need to be replaced, and then my brakes still didn't work. First time I ever had a car overheat on me, I pulled over and dumped a bunch of snow on top of the engine because I was like, I need to cool it down. So yeah, I learned on my own, pretty much the hard way. It's a whole lifetime of learning how to be self-sufficient because I've been poor my whole life. So Trish the Dish asks, do you miss your Buick? No, not really. But I have decided that out of like the 30 cars that I've owned in my life, I'm not kidding, I am going to hang on to that piece of crap. That's the one car I will not get rid of. You used to be able to go to the junkyard and there'd be like a dozen Buicks. Now it's like you can't find them. They've all been crushed or they're still on the road. So that thing is a classic. And it's just, I don't know, I have a attachment to it for sure. A lot of really good adventures in that car. So I'm gonna just let it sit there and rot at my mom's house until I, get my crap together and end up with a place of my own again someday. And then I'll do some work to it. I got some pretty cool plans in my mind. Crazy ideas to turn that Buick into something pretty sweet one day, if I ever get a shop again. But yeah, I'm keeping the Buick forever. I actually have cameras on my mom's house. So it's been kind of fun this winter, being like in the desert and then logging into the camera and seeing my Buick all covered in snow and crap up there in Nebraska. Question that I've been asked a lot is, how much did it cost to build your van? When are you going to make the what it costs to build your van video? I would have to sit there and go through so much. I keep a ledger of everything that I've spent every year, and I'd have to sit there for hours and hours and hours going through everything, figuring it out, dividing it all up into categories. I mean, I went to Menards literally at least 100 times to build my van. Every pack of bolts, every thing of screws, every piece of wood, all of that. So yeah, I've said I will make a cost breakdown video, and I still intend to. It's just the time it would take me to make that video is crazy. But I'll tell you, it's about 30 grand that I spent building my van. That's like everything, plus 12 grand for the van. So my van cost me somewhere between 40 and 50K for what I got today. And you definitely don't need to go all out like I did. You could do it for half of that, but yeah, about 30 grand or so, give or take. And I did wheels and tires, suspension, huge tune-up, like a lot of stuff that you could get away without. But yeah, that's pretty much. And on that same note about videos that would take me a lifetime to create, doing a condensed van build video, like where I take the entire van build and put it all into one like 30-40 minute video, that would take me like a month to go through. I made like, I don't know, 40-50 videos about my van as I was building it, and there's each video I filmed, I just turned the camera on and got to work. So each video took me 2 days to edit because I had like literally 8 hours of footage per video. I think it would be very beneficial to me to make that super condensed van build video, because like you see those videos on YouTube and Instagram and stuff, and they got like 1 million views, and I'm sure mine probably would take off like that, but it would literally take me like a month of staring and sorting through files and clips and pulling footage from every video and speeding it up and narrating and like all of that. It would be just a huge chore to make that video. So Adventure by the Mile asks, any tips or tricks for making videos? So I use Adobe Premiere, but it's $25 a month. It's a subscription, and I love it because it does everything I want it to do, and I learned it. Learning video editing software is like learning a foreign language. I tried like 3 different programs before I settled on Adobe, but a good free option would be DaVinci Resolve. That's a popular one, and there's a free version of that. As far as making videos, try to not shake the camera around, avoid wind noise if possible. You said you use an iPhone. I think those probably have like a filter for wind built in, but yeah, just lighting, audio, try to keep your camera steady. I'm still like, I get excited when I'm hiking and jerk the camera around to this day, but and as far as YouTube videos goes, the first like 3 minutes of the video are the most important. You gotta just start off with a bang and get people engaged. Otherwise they click off and go watch something else, and they call that the click-through rate, and that's how the algorithm works. You have to have a good CTR for your video to take off on YouTube. So I had to leave the beautiful canyon that I was in and come find a spot that is close to a paved highway, because at 8 o'clock tonight, winter weather and 55-mile-an-hour wind gusts too. The weather is going to be intense, and so are these next few questions that I'm about to answer. I saved all the super deep personal questions for last. Rachel 122205, hey Dave, I just wanted to ask how you're doing. Like, really, are you happy? Is it everything you expected it to be? Does it get lonely at all? Is your mental health improving? I know the world is crazy town right now. Just figured I would check in. Sorry bro, I'm a mom. Yes, I'm doing great. I am happy. It's weird, right? It's hard to believe. I can't even believe it myself. You know, I really do enjoy my own company. So, you know, there are parts of my life that are lonely, which I'm about to cover here with these other questions. But I'm fine. I'm doing great, and my mental health is definitely improving. DMEM 3344. What is the best personal change you see in yourself? My mental health, like my anxiety is better than it's been in many years, and there's like almost no negativity in my mind at all. Like I, you know, working full time, dealing with just bull crap every day, dealing with other people's problems, just having to solve other people's problems, dealing with everyone's drama and their other people's negativity. I'm an empath. So if I'm around people who are negative or putting off bad vibes, I absorb that, and it puts me in a crappy mood. So being out here by myself and just having nothing but adventure and nature and beauty and freedom and all of that, my mental health's better than it's ever been, ever. Like, and since I was like a little tiny little kid, you know. Stephanie and Polly, do you regret or enjoy being single? Any plans to find a companion, and would you stay on the road? P.S. Single life is underrated. You know, being single wasn't like something I planned, you know. And I would love to find my true love. And here's the thing. She would have to have her own van and have a similar, like, life plan or similar values, and want kind of the same things out of life as me, because I get so heavily invested in my relationships that they like consume my whole life. So I know that if I were to get into another serious relationship, then this life that I'm living right now is over. But, you know, someday that would be great. Abraham Lincoln 8477. I love when you discuss the happiness you feel exploring, and I hope to van life in a few years, but I have a history of depression and really lean into social interactions and activities to help me from sliding back into it. How do you keep mentally busy and keep your social needs met with your nomadic lifestyle? I'm thinking of like rainy days when you can't go hike and you're not editing awesome videos. Thanks. I have a hard time really picturing how days like that could work for me. Any insights or advice? You know what? Rainy days, being stuck in this van for several days sucks. I'll admit. And that is why I moved locations, because if I stayed where I was just camped, I could potentially be stuck for like a straight week, because it's about to snow for like 4 days and those roads are impassable. Reading books helps a lot. You can pass hours reading a book. You can really get into it. Play guitar, write. I actually started writing a book. The cats really help. And I chat online like all the time with my brother and my friends and stuff. And, even though I'm physically alone in this van, I never really am truly alone. I'm always, communicating with somebody. I am an introvert, so I really don't have a huge need for like social interaction. Socializing actually drains my energy, and being alone replenishes it. But I feel you on the depression thing. I've struggled with that since I was a teenager. It's people that have never been horribly depressed have no idea what it's like, and it's horrible. So yeah. Pops. Hey Dave, if you had to choose one choice, which one would you pick? Regret the choice that you have made, or regret a choice that you would have liked to have made but did not make? And please clarify your answer. I would rather regret a choice that I did make rather than to not have made that choice at all. Unless it's like something horrible that causes, like, murder somebody, or cause someone else great pain. Because like that's kind of like the whole basis of the way that I'm living, is I wanted to die with like as few regrets as possible. And you never know if something's the correct choice. Well, obvious things, yeah, but like you never know if a choice you're about to make is going to be a good choice or not till you actually do it. You can't fall without what's that, pseudonym or whatever, but you don't know unless you try. So I would much rather try something and then figure out it didn't work out or regret it than to just never try at all. So hopefully that answered your question. And then SDAVIFCOM. You asked for it. What is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? No cheating. The meaning of life is to experience, to feel, and to grow. That's it. All you have to do in this life is experience it and become better. That's it. That's, anything else, any other notion that you have about what life is all about has just been programmed into you by society. So I'm going to wrap it up. There's probably going to be more questions coming in, but this video is already like super long. I'm actually surprised with how many good questions I've had, and I kind of answer them all in probably way too many words and made the video too long, and that's my fault. But let me know if you enjoyed this. I'm just going to put this out like on a Monday. Today's Monday. I might upload this like today, just mix it in with the rest of my videos. But I enjoyed doing this. It was kind of fun. I don't really like talking about myself forever, which I kind of did in this video. But there were a lot of really good questions, and I appreciate you guys asking them. And if I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. I don't know why does Marcy call peppermint patty sir. I don't know. What is that? Gilligan's Island or something? I don't know. But if I didn't answer your question, don't take it personally, please. I did get like over 100 questions, and I feel like I already made the video way too long. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Tune in Wednesday and Saturday every week, and I'll see ya.